And hello, my fellow nerds out there. It's Oakland and Richie, and welcome back to Starry Flowers. Now, now in the now in the last two chapters, Periwinkle was having a bit of trouble trying to overcome their little self-inflicted curse. So, and I'm guessing this chapter is going to be continuing the story. I don't really know what else is going to happen, so let's just go ahead and dive into the story. The next morning, Periwinkle steps out onto his doorstep with a heavy sigh. If I lay around in bed all day, I'll only feel more miserable. I need to stop avoiding my work. I have to talk to Astragalus. She isn't going to be pleased with me, though. Holding his mantle tightly, he makes his way to the apothecary. When he arrives, Astragalus is preoccupied with arranging some of her merchandise. She turns abruptly at the unexpected sound of the door's chime. Hey, when that open yet? Huh? Periwinkle? Good morning, Astragalus. I haven't seen you all month. I barely recognize you under that hood. I was about to come and knock on your damn door if you didn't show your face here soon. You've got a huge backlog of orders waiting. I can't take them. My magic is useless. What do you mean, useless? Periwinkle meekly hands over one of his pale pink vials. This is all I can make. It's been this way for ages. Let's see. Astragalus unscrews the top and eyes Periwinkle suspiciously before giving it a whiff. Whew, that's powerful. Not bad though. Warms me right up. Could stand to be diluted a little just to make it less overwhelming. So, what's got you stuck in a scent like this? It's Pastille. He's ruined me. I'll never be able to return to the way I was before. I see, so things got complicated just like I warned you. I love him so much. I think I might die. Come on, back room, now. Periwinkle nods and obediently follows Astragalus to a private office. He quietly takes in his surroundings before she suddenly turns to him with a raised finger. Don't touch anything. Astragalus drags a beanbag chair out from the corner and plops it in the middle of the room unceremoniously. Sit. It's dusty. Ugh, you're such a diva. She gives it a couple of good smacks, beating dust into the air instead. Now sit. Very well. He complies, and Astragalus spins her office chair around to face him. Alright, Periwinkle, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna brew us up some tea, and you're gonna explain everything from the beginning. Explain what? About Pastille, even the stuff I already know. Everything from the top. Everything? Skip the bedroom details, obviously. Just walk me through everything important that happened since you met. I don't want to. Reliving it all is only going to make things worse. Astragalus stands and walks over to the kettle to start the tea. Alright, you lovesick dolt. You want to know exactly why your magic is stuck like that? It's because you don't have an outlet for all these emotions. Instead, you keep bottling them up. Literally, I guess. It's all that comes out because it's all there inside you. So let it all out. What, you think I'm gonna judge you? No. I don't know. Would you rather spit it all to him instead? I can't, it's too much. Then tell it to me. A neutral third party. Actually, I can't say that I'm neutral. I'd need to find a new supplier if you couldn't fill my orders anymore. I do feel a little more at ease imagining this is all a business matter for you. Then just think of it like that. Astragalus pours her tea and returns to her seat with 2 mugs in hand. With a heavy sigh, Periwinkle finally relents and begins his story. I told her everything I could think of. My first impression of him, how he continuously subverted my expectations, my mistakes appearing where I shouldn't have, then going into a desperate spiral as I tried to rid myself of the guilt over it, how he was the one to come and apologize afterwards. Our date that day, which was so wonderful, but which also laid bare to the feelings I was too afraid to acknowledge. how I latched onto any alternative explanation I could in order to escape them. The moment I could finally admit it to myself, all the ways he changed my life for the better. How he grew closer and closer while I held those feelings tighter to my chest. I told her how I finally worked up the courage to introduce me to his friends. How his hand trembled in mine as we walked out the door together. At this point, of contention, a far-off goal I had decided that I would have to be met before advancing. Everything up to the state I'm in now, useless, paralyzed, and sobbing. Astragalus listened patiently through all of it. She asked questions from time to time, clarification of the time frames and details. Her reaffirming comments offered such comfort, such relief of this pain I'd kept confined in my own heart. Until finally, I had nothing left to say. Astragalus sits back in her chair and he heaves a sigh. So, how are you feeling? There's a certain clarity in laying it all out at once, but I still don't know what I can do to push things forward. Could I even handle the rejection? He won't reject you. What makes you so certain? That boy is madly in love with you. Why else would he devote all his time and energy to making you happy? Because I'm great in bed, obviously. Quit deflecting. You know that's not all it is. I don't want to leave any room for doubt. If I were to confess now and it didn't go well, I'd be destroyed beyond repair. That's why, if I'm going to say it, I want it to be a sure thing. Life ain't about sure things. Even so, I'm going to wait for an opportune moment before exposing my vulnerable heart. As long as you got a plan. Astragalus leans down to pick up Periwinkle's empty mug, then holds it out in front of him. Try your magic again. Whatever scent you want, just pour it right into the cup. Periwinkle nervously draws his wand, holds it out to the cup, and then closes his eyes and taps. Is it chamomile? It isn't peach. I'm cured. Yeah, dumbass. Did you forget this is an apothecary? It is, isn't it? Next time you got a problem with your magic, don't sit around crying about it on your own. Come straight to me and I'll fix you up. Thank you. I'm truly glad that we're friends. I would be lost without you. Business associates, don't forget that I've got loads of orders for you now that you're back to normal. I'll go home and fill them right away. But first, may I hug you? Not a chance. It was worth a shot. You'll accept my platonic affection one day. Yeah, get out of my office, Periwinkle. The pair exit the back room, but they only make a few steps out before Periwinkle turns on his heel. One more thing before I go. What's up? I'd be curious to ask. Last time I was here, you told me that magic can be interpreted as a judge of one's character. Oh, right, when I changed my mind about Pastille? Yes, precisely. It's rather impressive that you could see through to its true nature, despite having only just met. Sure, but he was pretty easy to read. Don't be too impressed. Well, what? What does my magic say about me? I'm dying to know. Your magic was always lively and carefree, compassionate too, like Pastille's. How can you possibly read something like carefree from perfume? Hey, I'm just telling you the vibes I've gotten over the years. Your aromas prioritize pleasure, but there was also definitely a hint of loneliness in them too. Alright, now I know you're making things up. I've always had someone to keep me company. Just because you've always got someone around doesn't mean you can't be lonely. And I suppose someone like you would know a thing or two about loneliness. I'm not lonely at all. In fact, I prefer to be alone. You, on the other hand, can't stand even for a second. That's why you always run off chasing someone to fill the void. Well, that certainly isn't true. That peach stuff you gave me earlier was pure loneliness. It was crying out, please, Pastille, never leave me. This isn't fun anymore. Forget that I asked. Sorry, couldn't resist. I suppose you're right, though. I haven't been able to tell him that in words. I can't keep holding back. He has to know, no matter the outcome. Good luck, okay? I'm sure it'll turn out just fine. Yes, it likely will. Thank you again. I truly am grateful for all that you've done for me. The Stragglers waves him off, and Periwinkle leaves the apothecary with new resolve. I spend the next several days catching up on my work. Magic truly does come so easily with a clear mind. If only I'd swallowed my pride sooner. I completed a batch after batch almost effortlessly, going down the long checklist Astragalus had given me. I hadn't even felt tired by the end of it, as if all this energy had been stored up inside me all along. It was a relief to return to somewhat normalcy. Thinking of Pastille no longer caused my heart to ache, at least not enough to put me in total state of despondence. Instead, those thoughts served as motivation. The way forward was clear. I would tell him how I felt, and surely things will turn out just fine. The following night, Pastille shows up on Periwinkle's doorstep. Get dressed, I want to take you somewhere. Oh, and where exactly am I being whisked away to? You'll see. Wear comfortable shoes, okay? How mysterious. Very well, I'll be ready momentarily. This is it. The dramatic confession scene is upon us. I have to look my best for good luck, of course, and for confidence. Oh, should we just go with the favorite? Actually, let's go with the light. Let's go with the light set. Hand in hand, the pair make their way to the train station. Had he been planning something like while I was sequestered away with my work? Pastille is always full of surprises. How positively delightful. I hope I didn't interrupt any plans you had for the night. Oh, not at all. It was about time I got out of the house again. I've actually had a very productive past several days, you know, toiling away over my perfumes. I thought that might be the case, since you hadn't dropped by in a while. Did you miss me? Well... Periwinkle hugs Pastille's arm tightly as they continue to walk. I missed you too. Aww. When Pastille and I step off the train, we're greeted by grassy fields and a sky full of luminous stars. Just where is he taking me? A trail of lanterns like the lone path forward. Pastille takes the lead. It's a bit of a walk from here, but I promise it'll be worth it. A long walk, Couldn't we ride on your broom together? Nah, it'd defeat the purpose. It'll feel more rewarding to get there on foot. Fair enough. Tragic, though, that you'd willingly pass on an opportunity for me to cling to you. We can fly on the way back if you want. Pastille offers his hand again, which Periwinkle takes with a smile. Tell me more about your relationship with magic. What do you mean? It was the same way you cleaned my house together. You insisted on doing things manually. Not that I minded at all. Seeing you lift so many heavy things was a treat in itself. Well, ever since I was young, it was clear I was ridiculously talented, as they put it. My moms wanted me to be a traditional witch. They enrolled me. Ugh. Sorry, I still have a sore on my tongue, so. They enrolled me in one of the top schools so I can learn from the best. It wasn't all girls school, though. I guess I was young enough that no one realized I was a boy. I really didn't belong there on any level. But I kept it as long as I could, just enough to keep my parents happy until I could go out and live on my own. I still don't understand why, but I always felt uncomfortable using my magic. It felt like cheating. Like, this kind of power shouldn't come so easily. Sai thought so too. That's why I latched onto her when we met. She used to really hate magic, which worked out perfectly for me. It was a good excuse to pretend to be a regular human like her. So, that's what I did for the past 7 years? 7 years? That's quite a long time. Yeah, but there was a lot to distract me back then. It took a while to get Atelier Sweets up and running. And Sai did eventually find out, though I thought she disowned me when she did. But instead she told me I shouldn't have hid it, even though I doubt we wouldn't become friends if I told her from the beginning. Quite impossible to please. You have no idea. But ever since she said that, I've been able to start embracing magic again on my own terms. I'm beginning to grasp why he values her so highly. I'm sorry that I just kept talking about myself. Don't apologize, I'm the one who asked. Besides, I'm content to listen. Say as much as you'd like. Thanks. Periwinkle gives Pastille's hand a reassuring squeeze. I love him. I have to find the right moment to tell him that. Should it be now, during this romantic walk? But he still hasn't yet. But he is still. Blah! I can't read. But he still hasn't yet to. But he still has yet to reveal our destination. What do you have in store for me, Pastille? I think I might be too used to how Sai is. She's usually so preoccupied with her own stuff. So it's nice having someone who actually wants to listen to me. That makes her sound like such a horrible friend. She's really not. You certainly haven't made a convincing case with her. I know, but that wasn't the point I was trying to make. Oh? Yes? Well, let me start over. Pastille takes a deep breath before continuing. Going back to what we were talking about before with my magic and everything. I think I have trouble accepting myself for what I am. I tend to hide things even when I don't need to. Being with you feels like it's better not to hide. Like I'm allowed to just be. Or more like celebrated for being? I don't know, it feels weird to say. You can stop me from being too much. It's because I love you, why can't I just say it? Oh, we're here. We are? When we came up over the hill, the vastness of the night sky overwhelmed me. But more than that, a field of small blue flowers that stretched as far as the eye could see. Matched so perfectly. Pastille! They're periwinkles. I just understood that Periwinkle's name comes from a freaking flower. I didn't know that. I feel so dumb. When I looked up where to find some, I found out about this place. Apparently, it's a famous date spot. I thought you'd like to see it, so I shouldn't have told you I'm weak to romance. Pastille! A glint catches Periwinkle's eye, and he looks up and notices a meteor shower has begun. Oh good, it started just in time. You planned this too? Well, I knew this was going to be happening tonight, so... Pastille! Wow! Periwinkle tackles Pastille to the ground, landing them in a field of flowers. This is perfect. I don't know what else to say. I'm speechless. I guess I went a little overboard. A little? This is the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me. He buries his face in Pastille's chest, holding him close. Well, there's actually one more thing I wanted to say. I can feel Pastille's heart pounding. Where do I start? You know how Sai and Gumdrop are really important to me? I always thought that I needed to keep myself available for them, to take care of the store and everything. But in practice, that just meant I never really took any time for myself. Like, my own needs were something I could just Barry, and it would be fine, because it's for their sake. I guess that's part of why I'd go out with random guys in secret, as something just for me, totally detached from everything else. I tried have, having a real relationship once. It didn't work out. Obviously, I never told Sai about him. But that made me think I that was that I was right to continue on the way I had been, since I wasn't willing to let my own priorities shift. Periwinkle grips Pastille's cloak a little tighter. What are you saying? I guess that with you, I don't mind it as much. He's going to beat me to it at this rate. I can't let it happen. Periwinkle suddenly rose himself on top of Pastille, pinning him down. Pastille, I'm in love with you. What? Since when? I don't know. Maybe this whole time? I only admitted it to myself that morning you made me pancakes. That's what it took? Why? How long have you felt this way? Since having carried you home after spending the day together. I think that's when I first realized it. Then why didn't you say something? I've been suffering in silence this entire time. I thought you wanted to keep it casual. We saw each other almost every day. How was that casual? But you never acted any different, and I was busy sorting through all my own feelings anyway. So was I. But that's no excuse for how long you kept me waiting. I won't forgive you. What? Why are you smiling like that? It's cute, seeing you all worked up like this. Periwinkle struggles to his feet and begins stomping away. You could have saved me a lot of heartache, you know. Pastille sits up, straightening out his cloak and retrieving his hat. Where are you going? Come back. No, I'm too upset. Harry! I was convinced that I had cursed myself with some kind of love potion. With some kind of love potion. My fake aphrodisiac turned real. What in the world? Because we didn't fuck that day. Fucking was supposed to be the entire point of it. Perry! Everything spiraled out of control since then. I couldn't stop thinking about you. You broke my magic. For weeks and weeks, all I could conjure was stupid peach blossom scent. Really? Yes, until just the other day, which I spent crying in the dusty back room of the apothecary, telling the stragglers all about it. After that, everything I spent so long preparing my heart for, you have the nerve to try and confess first. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I already said I wouldn't forgive you. What do you want me to do then? I don't know. Fucking kiss me if you love me so much. Pastille approaches gently, raising a hand to Periwinkle's cheek, and does exactly as he's told. Aww. So adorable. I love you. Periwinkle's heart skips a beat. I love you too. He hugs Pastille tightly, careful not to knock him over this time. It takes everything I've got to keep myself from bursting into tears. I won't ruin my makeup for this perfect date. This beautiful place that Pastille chose just for us. I can't have my memory of this perfect night be obscured by tears. It looks like the meteor shower is over. Take me home. Are you still mad at me? I'm not mad at you. I've never seen you like this before. I don't know how else I should interpret it. I'm overwhelmed, elated, relieved, and frustrated. I want to get in bed, so you can hold me close all night. I don't think I'll be convinced that this is real unless you do that, so please? That sounds really nice. Okay, if it's to convince you, I guess I have no choice. Oh, my babies are together. There's a song with lyrics! And that's the ending? Oh, this is such a good story. But I don't want to do anything without you. Oh, it's such a good song. having fun. What I think. So pretty in pink. Oh, this is so cute. This was such a good story. I love this. And honestly, this is probably the best ending song I've heard in any visual novel. I don't know what else to say. This is an amazing story. Oh, thanks for playing. Aww. Oh, this is such a nice story. Oh, wait, what's this? Extras. Did we unlock extras? Bonus chapters. Prologue, Stay, I Love You. Extra scenes. Let's take a look at the art gallery. Oh. So this is all the CGs from all the chapters. Oh, it was really good to see Syrup and Gumdrop at least make a cameo. That was really good. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. My favorite CG has to literally be... Oh, whoops. Gallery 2? 3? Okay, my favorite CG literally has to be this one. It has to be this one. This is the most adorable one that I've seen in the entire story. Okay, and these are all the other CGs. Concept art. Oh, this is some concept art for the entire game. This is Straggler's. And honestly, I really like the Straggler's character. Like, she was like one of the sassiest characters in the entire story, and I freaking love her. I kind of want to see a story of her next. And these are parts of the other one, of the other characters. Oh, and this is all the music that I played during Lovely Date, Pastille, Periwinkle, Stragglers, Spooky Soiree. Hey! I love at least a reference to Spooky Soiree made in as well. Romantic Evening, Starry Flowers, and I'm assuming the last one is yep, Pretty in Pink. Well then. I think I'm just gonna let the song play in the background, so yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
Don't want to do anything without you, so now you know what I think. You look so pretty and